Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Kurt on Cougs. Doing another weekly preview. Yeah, big week for the Cougs across all sports. And yeah, we're going to dive right into it. Whole lot of exciting things going on. And we're also going to try something just a little different this week. Going to try to do 3 videos throughout the week. We're going to have one today previewing BYU men's and women's basketball. Specifically focusing on their games tonight. We're also going to talk a little bit about the games later in the week, but we will dive into those more in depth later on. As well as talking more, just assessing their tournament chances. I don't know, kind of, once again, trying out new things. I've never done this before, so kind of just trying to figure out what will work best to not have too long of videos and to be able to just really, give each game the attention it deserves. So yeah, once again though, kind of just a look around. We're going to mostly focus on BYU men's and women's basketball, but BYU women's softball comes into the week. They are currently undefeated, trying to keep that up. BYU men's volleyball on a 2-match winning streak off back-to-back sweeps against Santa Barbara. I don't remember exactly who they're playing, but we'll dive more into that. I'm hoping to have another video on Thursday-ish, maybe Wednesday night. Where we will review what's happened earlier in the week and preview the end of the week. BYU indoor track also going right now. Lots of school records being broken and stuff. Megan Hunter's a big name there to watch for. So yeah, lots of good stuff happening all around Cougar sports. So now diving into this week and kind of what it's going to look like. We're going to start off with BYU women's basketball. They have a game tonight against TCU, and this TCU team is really good, ranked number 11 in the nation. They got one of the top players in the nation, a player named Haley Van Lith. She's also played with Team USA a little. I think she might have been in the most recent Olympics. I'm not totally sure if I'm remembering that right. But yeah, really good player. She's averaging 17.9. And her teammate, a center, I forgot her name. Sedona's her first name, I believe, is averaging 17.8. So you got 2 players averaging close to 18 points. This game's at TCU. This might just be BYU's toughest game of the season. Yeah, on the road, all that. ESPN metrics giving them a 5% chance to win, which I think is pretty fair. So that one going to be really, really tough. And this is a TCU team that also, I look back on some of their past games, and they can win it in quite a variety of ways. They've won high-scoring games, low-scoring games. They've won in a variety of ways, and so I think it's going to be really tough. Yeah, that game happening tomorrow. Going to be a big one. If the Cougars could pull that one off, that'd be awesome. They have another ranked game too later this week. At home against Oklahoma State. So just overall, at this point, for BYU women's basketball, NCAA tournament not looking very likely. I haven't found anywhere that gives projections for the WNIT or any of those tournaments. So hopefully this team has some sort of postseason. Honestly, I think they will. That's my prediction. But I'm not too big of an expert on things outside of the NCAA tournament. But in my opinion, at this point also, very young team, got to be building some momentum. And I think that getting either of these games this week, winning either of them, beating a big ranked opponent, I think would do a lot for this team. I feel like at this point, a lot of this is building up confidence, setting yourselves up for lots of success next season. So yeah, I think it's going to be, I think getting either of these would be huge. Of course, though, both very tough games. I'm just looking at tonight against TCU. My deciding factors for that game, I think for one thing is just, and I just remembered, Haley Van Lith and Sedona Price. Those are the 2 stars for TCU, and that's actually where my first one's going to come from. I'm going to say I think this BYU team really just needs to slow those 2 down. Yeah, TCU's got a lot of star power, so just even able to slow them down, I feel like will go a long ways if the Cougars want to stay in this game. And then the other deciding factor I'm going to give for this game is just going to be good shot selection. Once again, TCU, they're really good on both sides of the ball, both offense and defense, and so if you want to keep pace with that offense and also have success scoring against this defense, I think it's going to be really crucial just to pick good shots. even if that takes some time, not rushing things too much and waiting for those shots, I think will be a huge factor if the Cougars want to win this one. My bold prediction for tonight's game, tomorrow, I keep on forgetting. I know I'm kind of used to, I think it was back in the WCC, men's and women's basketball played on the same day pretty much all the time, so this is kind of a weird adjustment. My bold prediction for tonight is I think the Cougars keep it within single digits. But my overall prediction for this game, I think the Cougars lose this one. This is a really, really tough team. They're going against lots of star power. It's going to be tough to get things going down low. Like I mentioned before, Sedona Price, their center, is 6'7", so she's tall, very skilled. She leads their team in rebounds, so I think this is going to be a tough loss for the Cougs. But yeah, would love to see them pull off that upset tomorrow. Now jumping over to BYU men's basketball. Currently they're in a little bit better of a place for NCAA tournament selection, of course. Did hurt their case a little bit last week with back-to-back losses to Cincinnati and Arizona. And so kind of just looking forward for them. I think that going 2-0 this week would be a very good step in the right direction. If they do that, then things look pretty manageable. You go 1-1, and then you got a little extra work to do. Going 0-2 at this point would not be good at all. Yeah, just looking at how many wins do they probably need. This is based on a stat from Team Rankings that was posted by Jerem Jordan earlier today. But if the Cougars were to win 4 more games before tournament time, and that would include in the Big 12 tournament, they would only have a 1.4 chance of making the tournament, so that's probably not quite enough. If they could win 5, that would put them at 19.4, which personally I just interpret that as they would be on the bubble. And then they would have a pretty good chance if they were to win 6 the rest of the way out, whatever that is, whatever combination of wins in the regular season versus in the Big 12 tournament. So yeah, I don't know. The way I look at it now, I feel pretty optimistic. I feel like this team should win at home against Kansas State, Utah, probably even against West Virginia at home. I feel like the home court advantage is a big deal. I feel like BYU, West Virginia, very evenly matched. I'll get to that a little more later. I think also Cougars should win on the road at Arizona State. And then I feel pretty good about their chances in tonight's game, as well as at Kansas next week. Well, no, sorry, not at Kansas, at home against Kansas next week. So, yeah, overall, I feel like this team still very much has a chance. Tonight's game, though, very, very important. I wouldn't quite say must win, but a very important win if the Cougars want to be in a good spot to make the tournament. So this week games against West Virginia. That's at West Virginia, and then they have a home game against Kansas State. 2 very interesting opponents. West Virginia, a team that was ranked early in the year, looked like one of the top teams in conference. Since then, has fallen off just a little. And Kansas State, currently one of the hottest teams in the conference. A while back, they looked like one of the very worst. But they're currently on a 5-game winning streak that includes wins over Iowa State and Kansas. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough week for the Cougars. But looking at tonight's game against West Virginia, they're led by Javon Small, who scores 18. And is just a huge part of their offense. And the truth is, West Virginia, not a great team offensively. This is a team that very much wins or loses based on defense. Looking at their games so far in conference play, they have only scored 70 or more twice and have scored below 64 times. So, yeah, and that's kind of the way I expect tonight's game to go. A game won either high 60s, low 70s. So, yeah, defensive battle. It's going to be really important for the Cougars to avoid turnovers, to just be able to score and to not let West Virginia get hot. Because I know that's something I've seen hurt the Cougars a lot in the past. Like on Saturday against Cincinnati, you were playing against a team that not very good offensively, but the Cougars ultimately, credit to Cincinnati, they played a great game. At the same time, though, BYU could have done a little better in that one. And so I think it's going to be just, really important to play a solid game tonight. I feel pretty optimistic about this one. Just because I feel like Cougars, they got some motivation, back-to-back losses coming into this. So I think they got all the motivation they need to go out there and to get a win over West Virginia. But yeah, so my deciding factors for tonight's game, I'm going to say first and foremost, just got to be doing well at challenging shots. Now, while I did say some stuff in defense of BYU's defense last week, I don't think they were horrendous defensively. Still could have been better. In my opinion, just one of the things that let these teams get in the game were some of these uncontested shots. You know, even if it was just a couple of them, ultimately helps a team get a lot of momentum helps a team get a lot of momentum on offense. So I think that's going to be really important. Just making sure you challenge every shot. Don't let them get hot from the field. And if they do this, I feel like BYU should be hanging around. And then number two, in my opinion, if they do this, then this should give them the advantage they need in order to win the game, which is really just attacking the paint. I think this one's going to be really important. This is something that BYU has honestly not done super well in their previous two losses. So I think it's going to be really important just to... And this is both getting it to the bigs down low, as well as having guys like Yegor, Richie, Trevin, Dallin, having basically your guard line be able to get penetration. And I feel like this will help. Just number one, BYU has done a lot better this year when they are outscoring their opponents in the paint, as well as that allows for more open threes. So yeah, opens up the game from outside, as well as just helps with more points inside. So in my opinion, if BYU is able to do well in those two categories, I think they win tonight. My bold prediction for tonight's game, I think we see a Cougar player with a double-double. Don't know who that is. Maybe Yegor with assists and points. Maybe Traore or Keita in points and rebounds. Yeah, ultimately though, my overall prediction for this game, once again, I would say I like the Cougars' chances, but still, it's on the road at Virginia. So, you know what? Whatever. I'm picking the Cougs. I'm saying BYU is getting the dub tonight. I don't know. Everything tells me they aren't going to win this one. So, I know I've down in the past hasn't worked out, so I'm going to say Cougars win tonight. Get back on the right track. So, yeah, go Cougs.